Call to order, City of Forest Park Council Meeting Number 1253, June 15, 2015. Let us stand for the pledge, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, would the clerk please call the roll?
Burns.
Here.
Cottle. Herbie.
Here.
Holt. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Lives. Here. Sethall.
Here.
All council members are present and accounted for. Next item is the minutes. You've all received copies of the minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Seeing none, we'll move to item number 3, presentation, business of the month, Kroger's Forest Park. Paul?
Mayor, members of council, thank you very much. Our June business of the month is a longtime favorite for all of us who live in greater Cincinnati. Kroger is the largest grocery store retailer in the country. I think when you hear some of these numbers, actually, I was a little surprised by them. The company actually generated more than $96 billion in total sales last year alone. They employ more than 343,000 people across the country. They have 2,400 supermarkets and multi-department stores. The company also operates 34 distribution centers, 37 food processing facilities, and almost 1,200 fuel centers. All of these operations are in 31 states. What makes Kroger so important to our community and many others across the country is their commitment to community service. Indeed, they have a long history of bringing help and hope to the communities they serve. Since its earliest day, Kroger has taken care of its neighbors and each other. Today, Kroger contributes more than $220 million annually in funds, food, and products to support local communities. It's no different here in our community in Forest Park. The local store has generously donated food and other goods for our seniors' quarterly lunch and a movie that's held at the Senior Center. They've also supported and given donations of toys and other things to be used as prizes at our Fall Harvest Fest. They've even helped out with the annual breakfast with the Easter Bunny, breakfast with Santa Claus, and our tree lighting ceremony. In short, Forest Park Kroger continues to be a leader for our business community and a true force in the city. We're fortunate to have them as a part of our community, and we look forward to building upon an already strong relationship for many years to come. And I believe that Sean Tronin, I don't think anyone was able to join us tonight from Kroger, so I will make sure that Sean receives the award. I don't think anyone here is from Kroger, so I will make sure that Sean receives the award. He told me he might have a conflict tonight, so I'll make sure he gets it. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Move on to the next item on the agenda, item number 4, which is communications from the public. This is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the podium and give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcriptions. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address council this evening? Seeing no one, thank you. We will move then to item number 5. Reports of standing committees. The first of these reports would be Law Committee, Councilwoman Cottle.
I have no report this evening.
Any questions for Councilwoman Cottle? Hearing none, Councilwoman Cottle, I have no items on the agenda for you for the work session on the 22nd. Do you have any to add?
No thanks.
Next committee report is Human Resources Committee, Councilwoman Holt.
I have no report today, thank you.
Any questions for Councilwoman Holt? Hearing none, Councilwoman Holt, I have no items for you. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Next committee report, Public Improvement and Facilities, Councilman Southall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do not have a report for public improvements and facilities tonight.
Any questions for Councilman Southall? Hearing none, Councilman Southall, I have one item on the agenda for you for the work session. It's amendment to the Fire Code Ordinance. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not at this time, sir.
Next committee report is Public Safety Committee, Councilman Lives.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick items. Once again, in the fire department's report, which is available to the public, there's a caution and some outstanding points on fireworks safety that I didn't realize until it was in their report that this is one of the worst days of the year for fires. It tops almost any other time for fire and explosive damage to people and injuries. For the fire department, the police department, they had a class for the new volunteers for Citizens on Patrol. So they know that, and they are running a clergy police academy, which is available to sign up for. And that would end my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, any questions for Councilman Lives? Hearing none. Councilman Lives, I have no items on the agenda for you for the work session on the 22nd. Do you have any to add?
No, sir.
Next report is Ways and Means Committee, Councilwoman Herbie.
No report.
Okay, any questions for Councilwoman Herbie? Hearing none. Councilwoman Herbie, I have no items on the agenda for you. Do you have any to add?
No, sir.
Community Development Committee, Councilman Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report. However, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions for Councilman Burns? Hearing none. Councilman Burns, I have no items on the agenda for the work session. Do you have any to add?
No, thank you.
Next report is Intergovernmental Relations and Communications Committee. That's my committee. I have no report. I'll be happy to answer any questions if there are any. And there are no items on the work session agenda for intergovernmental relations. Move to item number 6, the mayor's report. I would only report that near the end of the agenda, there will be an action item, a motion regarding the summer recess, and I would ask for everyone's support for that motion. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them. Hearing none, item number 7, the city manager's report. Mr. Hodges.
Thank you. I'll report 4 things. First, that the departmental reports have all been completed, included in the council packet, and also placed on file with the clerk of council for public inspection. I also want to report that we have completed the latest issue of the Progress Community Newsletter. It's online for people to access that. And I would encourage people to look at that information, because there is a lot of information covering a lot of different things going on in the community. I also need to mention that we'll need to schedule a Records Commission meeting. We haven't set a time and date for it yet, but with the members of that commission, perhaps the next council meeting, we'll schedule that. But again, we have to get everybody coordinated. The official body consists of the finance director, the law director, the clerk of council, and the city manager. We just have to coordinate our schedule. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, we'll have that Records Commission meeting, but I make it as a public announcement that we are looking to schedule that. And then finally, I would report that we are in the process of combining our part-time office clerk position on our front desk, which is a part-time position, with our part-time recreation coordinator. We're having a retirement, and because of the part-time office clerk position, we have to fill that position. And it appears that it's just going to work out better for us to have the recreation person fill that position and be available to us on basically a full-time basis, although half of that job is working the front desk. Fortunately, in this situation, many of our front desk issues or people calling and asking questions has to do with the availability of the recreation center, recreation programs, various things like that. So just to make you aware that it appears that it's going to work out. The total number of hours makes it work a little more feasible, because our recreation specialist is approximately 29 hours per week, and the office person is 20 hours. So it would normally be a little more of a cost for the full-time position, but because of the 29 hours, combining it now to 20 hours, it works out pretty much the same. So it's a very unique situation for us and an opportunity that we look to take advantage of. But that would conclude my report, and I would respond to any questions if there are any.
Any questions for the city manager? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Hodges. Next item on the agenda is item number 8, other reports. The first of those being the law director, Mr. Wykoff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All of you may have seen a letter that I sent to Rafiq Nakuzi regarding enforcement of a problem we're having with people who are refusing to get permits or having the proper inspections done. Right now, we are sending out warning letters and notices, and administratively, we can fine these people that are doing this or not doing it additional fees, but they don't pay them. So I'm suggesting in the letter one more tool of enforcement that might help expedite as compared to taking on civil litigation, and that is making it a criminal offense. Minor misdemeanor on the first occasion, and then escalating to a fourth-degree misdemeanor for repeated violations, because we've got to do something in an expedited fashion to get the attention of these people, and we're hoping that perhaps in mayor's court we'll be able to accomplish that. Otherwise, we're filing civil litigation that, as Mr. Nakuzi has explained, typically will put us in a position of more delay, and while that delay is going on for the court to work through the system, during that delay, they're already doing the work and they're finishing the work, and then our only remedy is now we're faced with ordering somebody to tear off an addition, redo work, what have you, and we can see it, that is too complex and it's too involved, and we'd like to try this to see if we can get their attention in this manner. Other than that, I have nothing else to report unless you have any questions.
Any questions for the law director? Hearing none, thank you, sir. Next report on the others is Clerk of Council, Mrs. Huffman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do not have a report this evening.
Any questions for Clerk of Council? Hearing none, we move to the new business. There's a motion, Mr. Lives.
I move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read by title only ordinance number 06-2015. The ordinance was posted 6 days prior to the meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read by title only ordinance number 06-2015. Is there discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules?
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lives,
Yes.
Southall.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules passes 7-0. First item on the new business is item A, ordinance 06-2015. Would the clerk please read that ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 06-2015, amending annual 2014 appropriation ordinance 01-2015.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I move to adopt ordinance number 06-2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 06-2015. Is there a discussion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, the purpose of this is actually in reevaluating our appropriations and kind of, with this being mid-year, evaluating where monies can be squeezed out to make some necessary road improvements. And staff has done that, identified where we can trim some funds and transfer into our funds to do these road improvements. The purpose is to tackle this in the short term so that we don't have long-term issues and to deal with some of our most critical road problems. So I would urge adoption of this ordinance.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on ordinance number 06-2015?
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt, Johnson,
Yes.
Lives,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Ordinance number 06-2015 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item B, ordinance number 07-2015. Would the clerk please read this ordinance in full?
Ordinance number 07-2015. Ordinance authorizing the City of Forest Park, Ohio to enter into a lease purchase agreement by and between Fifth Third Bank and the City of Forest Park, Ohio, to finance the purchase of equipment for the City of Forest Park and authorizing other documents in connection therewith and declaring an emergency. Whereas the City of Forest Park, Ohio, whereas the City of Forest Park, Ohio, the city, desires to finance the purchase of certain equipment for municipal activities, including 4 police vehicles, 2 fire vehicles, a street sweeper, a plow truck, a dump truck, a pickup truck, and various equipment for public works purposes, the project. And whereas the financing and leasing of the project will be in the best interest of the city, and whereas Fifth Third Bank has agreed to purchase and/or finance the project and to lease the project to the city, and whereas the city has agreed to lease the project from Fifth Third Bank, and whereas the city and Fifth Third Bank have agreed to enter into a lease purchase agreement as a means to finance the acquisition of the project. Now therefore, it is ordained by the City Council of City of Forest Park, County of Hamilton, and State of Ohio, that Section 1, that for the purpose of providing police equipment for the city and the services rendered thereby, this council hereby determines that it shall lease under the agreement the project from Fifth Third Bank. Section 2, that the agreement hereby authorized will include a statement to the effect that 1, the city obligations thereunder are not general obligations, debt, or bonded indebtedness of the city or of the state or any political subdivision thereof. 2, Fifth Third Bank has no right to have excess or excises or taxes levied by the city or the state or any political subdivision thereof for the payment of rental payments thereunder. And 3, the right of such payment is limited to the rentals and other revenues pledged for such purposes under the agreement. And such statement is true and correct as it applies to the agreement. Section 3, that the city is authorized to lease the project through Fifth Third Bank. Section 4, that for the purpose of providing the project and payment of cost of issuance to the city, this council hereby authorizes and directs the city manager and the finance director of the city to execute on behalf of the city the agreement and any exhibits thereto in a total principal amount not to exceed $750,600 at an interest rate of not to exceed 3% per annum pursuant to the agreement, substantially in the form presented to the council and on file with the clerk of council, and the agreement, covenants, and promises therein made on behalf of the city shall be conclusively binding on the city and in full force and effect from and after the execution of the agreement. Section 5, that this council hereby authorizes and directs the city manager and the finance director of the city, or either of them, to execute and deliver a non-arbitrage certificate and such other documents or certificates, and to do all the acts and things required of it by the provisions of the agreement, to the end that full and complete performance of all the terms, covenants, and provisions of the agreement shall be effected. Section 6, that the agreement and other documents and certificates authorized by this ordinance shall be subject to such changes, insertions, and omissions, and approval of any changes, insertions, and omissions shall be conclusively evidenced by the execution of said documents by the city manager and the finance director of the city, or any one of them. Section 7, that this council hereby covenants that it will take such actions in such manner and on such extent, and to such extent, if any, as may be necessary to cause the interest component of rental payments under the agreement to be and remain excludable from gross income for federal income tax purposes. This council will also submit and the appropriate statements or filings to the Internal Revenue Service containing the information required by the Internal Revenue Code, including IRS Form 8038-G. Section 8, that the obligations under the agreement are hereby designated qualified tax-exempt obligations for the purpose set forth in Section 265 of the Internal Revenue Code. The city does not anticipate issuing more than $10 million of qualified tax-exempt obligations during the calendar year 2015. Section 9, there is hereby appropriated from unappropriated funds currently on deposit in the general fund of the city, the sum of $115,000 to pay the cost of lease payments due under the lease for the initial term ending December 31st, 2015, and the sum of $5,500 to pay costs and expenses associated with the project and the lease. Section 10, this council hereby approves the issuance of the obligations for the financing of the project. Section 11, that it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and of any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public, in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code and the rules of this council adopted in accordance therewith. Section 12, that this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and welfare of the inhabitants of the city, for the reason that the immediate issuance of said lease obligation is required for the orderly and timely financing of the project referred to herein. Therefore, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and immediately after its passage and approval by the mayor. Section 13, that this ordinance shall become and be in full force and effect immediately effective from and after its adoption.
Is there a motion? Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I move adoption of ordinance number 07-2015.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we adopt ordinance 07-2015. Is there a discussion? Councilwoman Herbie.
I'll try to be brief because this was read in full, and that's kind of self-explanatory. We also discussed this last week. Basically, as they said, this is an attempt to do a master lease of certain vehicles in order to equalize sort of our payment over the next few years. We had covered this in Ways and Means Committee just prior to this, and so I wanted to point out some things that came to light there. This lease offsets both purchase and maintenance costs. Harlita was very forthright in saying it might be slightly higher than what we cost, so it's not an even wash, but the fiscal management part of it is much better because it helps with the even payments and also with cash flow issues. She also said that the $750,000 and $600 is actually the maximum, so it could come in under that. And also wanted to point out that this doesn't include specialized fire equipment like engines, ladders, and those kinds of things. Those would still be done under our normal fire fund budget. That would conclude my report, and I'd urge adoption of the motion.
Mr. Burns.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's one thing that we may need to, small thing, in Section 9, project should be capitalized.
I'm sorry,
The word project in Section 9, last sentence, probably should be capitalized because it's referring to the project as opposed to a general project.
We will make that change as an editorial change.
Oh, okay, yeah, with the project, okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance 07-2015?
Herbie,
Yes,
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lives,
Yes.
Sathal,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cotter.
Yes.
Ordinance 07-2015 passed 7-0. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 20-2015. Would the clerk please read this resolution in full?
Resolution number 20-2015, a resolution consenting to the execution of an economic development incentive agreement between ATR Distributing Company and the City of Forest Park, Ohio. Whereas the City of Forest Park has identified the recruitment of new businesses and redevelopment of existing buildings as priorities for its economic development program, and whereas ATR Distributing Company plans to make a significant investment of approximately $725,000 to acquire and renovate a vacant building on Kemper Springs Drive, bringing 18 full-time and 2 part-time jobs to our community. And whereas ATR Distributing Company plans to create 2 full-time and 2 part-time jobs as a result of the project, and whereas this project is consistent with the goals of our redevelopment program, specifically the recruitment of technology companies, and whereas staff has determined that an incentive is required to help the company renovate and reposition this important property, and whereas the Economic Development Commission has reviewed this project and passed a resolution in support of the proposed incentive, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Forest Park, Ohio. Section 1, that the Council of the City of Forest Park hereby gives its consent for the city manager to enter into an incentive agreement with ATR Distributing Company to facilitate a renovation of the building located at 11857 Kemper Springs Drive. Specifically, the City of Forest Park will provide an incentive package that includes $15,000 redevelopment grant in 2015, $10,000 redevelopment grant in 2016, 34% earnings tax rebate on reported withholdings for 2016, estimated value $12,750 to be paid in 2017. 34% earnings tax rebate on reported withholdings for 2017, estimated value $12,750 to be paid in 2018. 34% earnings tax rebate on reported withholdings for 2018, estimated value to $12,750 to be paid in 2019. The total value of this performance-based incentive is approximately $63,250. Section 2, that the resolution shall be in full force and take effect from and after the earliest date allowed by law.
Is there a motion?
Before I ask for a motion, I wanted to correct, I think you said 63,125? Is it 53,125?
In which section?
In
Total?
section 1, at the very end, the total value of the performance-based incentive?
Section 1, okay, the total value.
Yeah, I think you said
It should be
63.
$63,250.
I don't think she got the new one. She didn't.
Oh, did I? Okay. There was a new one.
Oh, the new, oh,
Look at the new one.
okay, so the new memo, it is 63.
She read it correctly.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
All right. Yes, I would move adoption of resolution number 20-2015.
Second.
Moved and second that we adopt resolution number 20-2015. Is there a discussion?
No, actually, I think this covered everything very, very well. I would urge adoption of the motion.
Hearing no other discussion, would the clerk please call the roll on resolution 20-2015?
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes?
Lives,
Yes.
Sathal,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie.
Yes.
Resolution 20-2015 passes 7-0. Next item is a motion, Mr. Lives.
Thank you. I move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read resolutions number 21-2015 through 28-2015 by title only. These resolutions were posted 6 days prior to our meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and second that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read resolutions numbers 21-2015 through 28-2015 by title only. Is there a discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the motion on the motion to suspend?
Johnson,
Yes.
Lives,
Yes.
Sathal,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
The motion to suspend the rules passes 7-0. First item on the agenda is item D, resolution number 21, 2015. Would the clerk please read that resolution by title only?
Resolution number 21-2015, a resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase land at Caroline Business Park to facilitate a public improvement project.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I would move to adopt resolution number 21-2015.
Second.
Moved and second that we adopt resolution 21-2015. Is there a discussion? Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, one of our businesses in Forest Park, Fry Fasteners, had been looking for property to expand to, and we found property for them in Carolyn Park, but adjacent to this is a very small parcel of land that we realized needs to be used for a detention basin. So we're proposing that we purchase from Emeritus this piece of property and put up a detention basin covered by our TIF, and I would suggest that we proceed with this in order to assist Fry Fasteners in moving to this location. And I would urge adoption of this motion.
Is there any further discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on resolution 21-2015?
Lives,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Resolution 21-2015 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, item E, resolution number 22-2015. Would the clerk please read that resolution by title only?
Resolution number 22-2015, a resolution to concur with the city manager's action to proceed with the demolition of a structure at 11382 Kenshire Drive, Forest Park, Ohio, 45240.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move for the passage of Resolution 22-2015.
Second.
Been moved and second that we adopt resolution 22-2015. Is there a discussion, Mr. Burns?
Yes, thank you. This is the first of 4 individual properties that have been recommended for demolition, all of which have gone through all the necessary steps related to correcting the issues related to each property. The city has been working diligently to contact the owners, also issuing violations related to each property for over a year. All of those properties, including the one on this resolution, have gone through the Board of Zoning Appeals for a review process, and staff is recommending that we approve to proceed with demolition in accordance with the city codes. So with that, I would urge adoption of Resolution 22-2015.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on 22-2015?
Southall,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lives.
Yes.
Resolution 22-2015 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is resolution 23-2015. Would the clerk please read that resolution by title only?
Resolution number 23-2015, a resolution to concur with the city manager's action to proceed with the demolition of a structure at 11777 Elkwood Drive, Forest Park, Ohio, 45240.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Yes, I move for the adoption of Resolution 23-2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 23-2015. Is there a discussion, Mr. Burns?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a continuation of the previous item for the second property. Each property, as stated earlier, will have its own resolution. Similar issues over a year in discussion and correction. And then with that, I would urge adoption of Resolution 23-2015.
Any further discussions? Hearing none, would the clerk call the roll on resolution 23-2015?
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lives,
Yes.
Southall.
Yes.
Resolution 23-2015 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, item G, Resolution 24-2015. Clerk, please read that resolution by title only.
Resolution number 24-2015, a resolution to concur with the city manager's action to proceed with the demolition of a structure at 11621 Elkwood Drive, Forest Park, Ohio, 45240.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Yes, I would move for adoption of Resolution 24-2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 24-2015. Is there a discussion, Mr. Burns?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the third of four demolition recommendations that are coming from staff and the city manager. All appropriate actions have been taken up for over a year with this and others. With that, I would urge adoption of Resolution 24-2015.
Is there any further discussion on the resolution? Hearing now, would the clerk call the roll on Resolution 24-2014?
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lives,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Resolution 24-2014 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item H, Resolution 25-2015. The clerk, please read that resolution by title only.
Resolution number 25-2015, a resolution to concur with the city manager's action to proceed with the demolition of a structure at 11669 Ken Road, Forest Park, Ohio, 45240.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Yes, I move for the passage of Resolution 25-2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 25-2015. Is there a discussion, Mr. Burns?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the final action for the demolition of those said properties. Resolution 25-2015. All actions have been taken to remove those properties and consistent with the laws and actions for the city and the county. Each one of those properties represented some type of health and human issue, and I would urge adoption of Resolution 25-2015.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would the clerk call the roll on Resolution 25-2015?
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes?
Lives,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle.
Yes.
Resolution 25-2015 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item I, Resolution number 26-2015. Clerk, please read that resolution by title only.
Resolution number 26-2015, a resolution authorizing the Forest Park Police Department to participate in the Hamilton County Heroin Coalition Task Force.
Is there a motion, Mr. Lives?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I move to pass resolution number 26-2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 26-2015. Is there a discussion, Mr. Lives?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This resolution allows the Forest Park Police Department to participate in the Hamilton County Heroin Coalition Task Force. This is similar to other mutual agreements that we have for fire and police, and it gives a little more strength to the enforcement and hopefully the curtailing of heroin operations. It works between the police chiefs, the sheriff, coroner, and our police department. Sharonville recently passed the motion to join this task force, and I would urge that we also join in with them in preventing and curtailing as much heroin usage as possible. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on Resolution 26-2015?
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes?
Lives,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie.
Yes.
Resolution 26-2015 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item J, Resolution number 27-2015. Would the clerk please read the resolution by title only?
Resolution number 27-2015, accepting the bid of Strausser Construction Incorporated for the 2015 surface ceiling program.
Is there a motion? Mr. Southall.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I offer a motion that we receive Resolution 2715, 2015 for adoption.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 27-2015. Is there a discussion, Mr. Southall?
Yes, one bid was received and opened on May 13th, 2015 for a surface seal program. This is somewhat of a specialized type of work because of the equipment that's being used. So there's only a limited contractors even doing this type of work in this immediate area. This surface seal work is more of a maintenance type of street treatment, which was basically crack filling and micro sealing of the streets, similar to what a homeowner would do in their own driveways. This does not do much for the street structurally, except that it helps seal out water infiltration and makes tremendous difference in how long the street surfaces last. So with that, I urge the adoption of Resolution 27, 2015.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on Resolution 27, 2015?
Johnson,
Yes.
Lives,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Resolution 27-2015 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item K, Resolution number 28-2015. The clerk please read that resolution by title only.
Resolution number 28-2015, accepting the bid of the Atleta Incorporated for the 2015 street program.
Is there a motion, Mr. Southall?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I offer a motion that Resolution number 28, 2015 be received for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 28-2015. Is there a discussion, Mr. Southall?
Yes, this resolution gives the bid to Adlai Incorporated for 2015 street program. There were 3 other bidders, but the Adlai Incorporated company was the best and the most reasonable bid. So I would urge adoption of Resolution 2015, sir.
Is there any further discussion?
There were actually 5 total.
5 bids.
There are 4 other, not 3 other.
Okay. There's 5, yes, instead of 4. You're correct.
Thank you, Councilwoman Holt. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk call the roll on Resolution 28-2015?
Lives,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Resolution 28-2015 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item L, a motion, Mr. Lives.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to pass a resolution to have a council on recess from August 4th, 2015 through September 13th, 2015.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we establish the summer recess for council from August 4, 2015 through September 13, 2015. Is there a discussion? Mr. Lives?
Actually a motion and not a,
It's a motion.
Not a resolution.
right.
It's a motion, I'm sorry. It's a motion to establish the recess from August 4, 2015 through September 13, 2015. Is there a discussion on the motion, Mr. Lives?
Yes, just to clarify this, we would still be meeting in council on August 3rd. The recess would start Tuesday, August 4th. The last day of the recess is Sunday, September 13th, with a council work session on Monday, the 14th. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Just as a note, If it's necessary to have any meetings in between that time frame, then a called meeting would be in order. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item M, a motion, Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I would move to receive the general fund summary reports as contained in the departmental reports.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental reports. Is there any discussion?
We also discussed this in Ways and Means. The income tax is trending a little better than we had anticipated, and we're hoping that it will continue that way. Tax collections have been coming in very well, so I just wanted to make note of that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of the voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion to receive the general fund summary report passes unanimously. Is there any other business to come before the body? Any other business to come before the body? I would just say that as of right now, we have only one item on the agenda for the work session on the 22nd. As we approach that date, we will let you know whether that meeting would be in order or whether we would move it to a time prior to the next council meeting. If there are no other business to come before the body, we're adjourned.